You know that feeling, right? When someone gives you a piece of advice and it sounds so deep, so profound, but then you walk away and you're like, wait a minute, what did that even mean? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today with this incredible story, The Fable of False Wisdom. And really, that brings us to the core question here. It's a trap, isn't it? A trap we all fall into from time to time. This amazing sounding advice that's, well, it's just hollow. This fable is going to give us the perfect lens to see exactly how this trick works, and more importantly, why it's actually so dangerous. So, let's set the scene. Our story kicks off in this quiet, peaceful forest. You know the type, a place where, for most animals, life is all about routine, all about hard work. But there's one resident who sees things a little differently. For him, hard work isn't the solution, it's the problem. And that resident is Kautik the Jackal. Now, don't get me wrong, Kautik is clever. He's super sharp, but his brain power, it's not going towards hunting or building a better den. Nope. He's focused on just one thing, the shortcut. He absolutely hates hard work and is always on the lookout for an easier way. And this is it. This is his light bulb moment. He's watching all the other animals bickering, confused about what to do, and Kautik, he doesn't see chaos. He sees a business opportunity. He realizes that if everyone else is confused, then the illusion of clarity, well, that's something he can sell. So what does he do? He puts his plan into motion just like that. He sets up shop right under this huge banyan tree, and his business model is beautifully simple. The deal is this: wisdom for sale. You bring him a meal, and in return, he gives you advice, a straight-up transaction. Okay, so he's got his business set up, but how does he actually pull it off? What's the secret sauce to his art of deception? This is where things get really interesting, because we get to see the mechanics of his brilliant but totally hollow scheme. So check this out. A deer comes up to him, right? She has a simple question. Hey, Kautik, should I go to the river today? Now, instead of a simple yes or no, Kautik gives her this gem. It sounds so specific, almost mystical, doesn't it? But here's the genius of it. It's completely untestable. If she goes and everything's fine, Kautik's a genius. If she gets halfway there, the wind changes and she turns back, Kautik's still a genius. There's literally no way to prove him wrong. And you're starting to see the pattern here, right? All his advice does is put the burden of proof back on the listener. I mean, what does feels right even mean? It's totally subjective, but he packages it up to sound like deep, profound guidance. Oh, and this is a classic. It's a perfect logical loop. Of course you trust when doubt disappears. That's just the definition of trust. Kautik isn't offering insight. He's just rephrasing a dictionary definition and selling it back to you. It's his perfect formula. Speak with absolute confidence, be completely vague, and boom, you get paid. And you know what? It worked. It worked like a charm. The other animals, they were kind of confused by how vague it all was, but man, they were so impressed by his confidence that they paid up every single time. So Kautik gets well fed, he gets lazy, and here's the really crucial part. He starts to believe his own hype. The con was so good, he even conned himself. But, a performance like this, it can't last forever. See, true wisdom doesn't need a stage. It usually just works quietly in the background, observing. And it was only a matter of time before someone called Kautik's bluff and put his whole act under a real spotlight. And that someone is Dhruv the tortoise. Just look at the difference between these two. Kautik's entire game is about selling confusion for his own personal gain. But Dhruv, he's the real deal. He's all about finding clarity, about seeking the truth. And he sees right through the Jackal's little scheme. Now, Dhruv sees how dangerous Kautik's influence is becoming, and he doesn't just sit back and watch. No way. He takes his concern straight to the top, to Van Raj, the Lion King. And just like that, the stakes get a whole lot higher. Kautik's little wisdom for food business is about to get a royal audit. So the king himself decides to test this so-called sage. And this is not just another deer asking about the river. This is the king. And the consequences for giving bad advice this time, well, they could be catastrophic. Okay, so here's how it goes down. The king walks up to Kautik and asks a very direct question. Should I go hunting today? Kautik, doing what he does best, gives another one of his foolproof prophecies. Something that sounds wise but means nothing. Wait unless the sky turns red. It's supposed to be another clever, untestable out. But then, The one thing he never ever expected actually happens. The sky turns red. A strange sunset, a forest fire, who knows? But now, the king has to follow this completely empty piece of advice. And this is where we see just how dangerous false wisdom really is. It isn't just useless, it's actively harmful. Because he's following Kautik's wisdom, the king isn't paying attention. He walks right into a hunter's trap that he probably would have spotted otherwise. That illusion of wisdom has just led to a very real, very painful disaster. So, Vanraj manages to escape, but he comes back injured and he is furious. With one single angry roar, the entire illusion just shatters for everyone in the forest. All of Kautik's smooth talk and confidence, it means absolutely nothing when faced with a real life-or-death consequence. His whole business built on confusion has just gone completely bankrupt. Okay, so the truth is out, the con is over, and now we get to the real moral of the story. The true wisdom of this fable doesn't come from Kautik's mouth, obviously. It comes from the mess he created. And it's Dhruv, the wise old tortoise, who really nails it. He says this one line that sums everything up. Just think about that for a second. It's one thing to be ignorant and know you're ignorant, but to be confident that you have knowledge when all you really have is, well, hot air, that is so much more dangerous, not just for you, but for everyone who makes the mistake of listening. So what is this stuff Kautik was selling? We can call it false wisdom. And it's so important to get this. It's not just about being wrong by accident. It's a deliberate strategy. It's all about using big, impressive-sounding words to hide the fact that there's absolutely nothing there. And it works because it preys on our very human need to have clear answers, even when they're fake. So what about Kautik? What happens to him? Well, he isn't exiled or anything like that. Instead, he's humbled. He's ordered to actually work for his food, just like everybody else. He loses his fancy title as the wise one, but in the end, he learns a piece of real wisdom. Tricks and clever words might get you a meal for a day, but it's truth that will actually sustain you for a lifetime. And that really brings us back to ourselves, with one final and maybe the most important question of all. Kautik was only in business because people wanted to buy what he was selling, easy answers. So the real question is, how often do we do that? This story isn't just about spotting the Kautiks in the world, it's about looking inward and recognizing that little part of all of us that sometimes prefers a simple, comforting story over a messy, difficult truth. So where in your own life are you maybe choosing that easy answer?